I'll share the screen if you want me to for the first slides.
Yes, please.
All right. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
It's not letting me go into the mode, but I'll make the best of it. I know we're short on time. So my name is Daniel Robles. I'm an e-invoicing solution consultant at Avalara. I'll be co-presenting with Colin, which is the managing director at Accurus. Now, the impact of e-invoicing on businesses and tax compliance. For the ones that don't know what e-invoicing is the way that the governments are closing the VAT gap when it comes to certain mandated invoicing requirements around the world outside of the United States. Um, Basically, when you're doing a B2B transaction, B2C transaction, or even a B2G transaction, you have to be able to submit. Oh, there it goes. You have to be able to submit your invoice in a certain schema format to the tax authorities of the country you're invoicing and get the approval before that transaction can take place. When it comes to this mandate wave that's approaching the EMEA markets, there's over 60 billion transactions of e-invoicing that have to be done in real time. Right now, worldwide, there's 60 mandates around the world that are doing some kind of flavor when it comes to e-invoicing. There's different models. There's the models when it comes to clearance models, there's reporting models, there's a centralized model. They're all different models on the way you need to submit invoicing when it comes to the world we're living in. Now, we've seen a strategic shift take place when it comes to e-invoicing. What a lot of this middle market companies and enterprise companies are doing right now. They want one global solution, and that's what Avalara can offer. This global solution, it is an API-based solution that could be integrated with clients' ERP systems, in-house systems, so they're not reinventing the wheel. This API that lives within Acumatica will be able to transform your information when you're creating an invoice, a debit note, or credit note into the correct format for the country that we are invoicing for, submit it to the tax authorities, get a response message that has been approved or rejected, and then that transaction has been completed. This is very scalable, and since the API is created, adding different countries or adding mandates that they come to the market becomes a matter of configuration instead of doing a whole lot blown implementation, depending on what the complexity it is for that market. And then we have flexibility and we're transparent when it comes to this information. As long as you're scaling, you're growing, we support that market, understanding if it's account receivables that we're implementing or account payables that's being implemented. The Avalara solution with Acumatica can abide with that information. How can we help Avalara invoicing and live reporting? Now, Avalara offers a different type of design. Like I said, the point is not to make this process very confusing for our customers, or for your customers as well. That is a global platform where one API supports every single market that we have in business. We have over 40% markets that we cover from an ARAP standpoint. We are partner modeled first. We have a pre-built connector when it comes to Acumatica and other systems as well. Basically, we have one form of structure on way that we receive invoices or credit notes or debit notes into the platform, whatever the customers are invoicing. We're able to transform that structured format, which is the UBO structure, goes into the Avalara cloud. We're able to map it to the correct format needed for the jurisdiction that we're invoicing. It gets approval from the tax authorities and it comes back to us. We basically do all the heavy lifting. All we need from your team is the data. After that aspect of it, we're able to get those payloads, map them over, connect to the government, and send a status message back so the transaction can be completed. Now, what we're seeing here in the market right now is this diagram where you see on the top of that my cursor is moving. A lot of companies have different point solutions when the markets they're going to. So they'll have a platform that they need to log in when it comes to any markets within LATAM, within EMEA, within the APAC. Avalara's main goal is to simplify that information. We can worry about the VAT, the tax, the sending of the invoice, and you concentrate on your business. So we simplify this by just having one single API integrated with Acumatica, and you'll be able to see a bird's eye view of all the countries you have in scope within one platform. You're not going to several different platforms. You're able to see the statuses of these compliant invoices or credit notes or debit notes within one single screen, completed. We handle errors within initiative APIs and UI, so you have visibility into the whole market. And then now to Colin, he'll go over a little bit of a demo on how that information works within Acumatica.
Great. Thanks very much, Daniel. Hopefully you can see my screen.
We can.
So we're logged into our Acumatica system. You'll notice here on the left-hand side, we have an Avalara menu. So a customization project is installed on your system. There's no cost for this module. As long as you're subscribing to Acumatica or Avalara services, then this comes part of that. So as Daniel was explaining, we're basically sending invoices from Acumatica to customers and receiving invoices from suppliers based on the different countries in which a mandate is active and we need to work with. So the way we set things up, we have a connection. And in here, you're basically putting in the API details that you'll get from Avalara. And on this tab, once that is enabled and active, you'll notice that we have this list of mandates. So just as Daniel was explaining there, each country, for example, just filtered by the UK here, Great Britain, you'll see that there's a couple of mandates listed. So you just select which mandates you need to work with, and those will be available for configuration. And as new mandates get put out, you can just refresh the list and set them up very easily. Okay. So once you have a mandate active, what needs to happen is to set up the mapping for that mandate. So in this example, we have the UK, Great Britain, for a B2B, business to business mandate, and PEPL refers to a network that transacts the files through to the end recipient, and Avalara is connecting to that network for us. So you'll see on the screen, it's quite a busy screen. I won't go through everything in precise detail, but we're just mapping fields from our invoice screen to fields in the mandate. That is the whole principle of what's going on here. So in this row, for example, you see you have a document currency code, and all of these fields refer to the fields in the mandate that need to be filled in. You'll notice here that's set to a required field, and that's mapped to our document and the curry ID, a very common field for people familiar with Acumatica. And this field, the way that it's mapped, is through the same formula editor that you would use in other parts of Acumatica. So you've got all the fields that you need to reference on the document, and the transaction lines, customer, those are all available for you to select. Being the formula editor, if I just show you the field above here, you can also use the different formula if you need to, for example, do a little bit of data maintenance before it's sent to the mandate. So in this case, INV refers to an invoice, but the mandate code for that is 3080. A credit memo has a different code. So this is the sort of thing that you can do within the formula editor to map all the fields. So the way that this is set up, it actually loads all the fields for you, all the required fields, and then you can go and set up the different mappings according to the requirement for that mandate. There's several other features here that we'll just skim over. So multi-line situations on your document, such as tax lines or rows in the invoice, some other required bits and pieces. There's a filtering capability, so you may not be sending e-invoices to all organizations, so you can filter things, and this is the same mapping concept for bringing documents in through this mandate. Okay, so that's just a very quick overview. The next thing I want to do is just show you quickly how this works on a transaction. So we'll pop up an invoice. This is just a standard demo data system of Acumatica, an unreleased invoice. So I'll release that invoice. Now we're going to come back in a second to the Avalara Documents tab where we'll see the sent invoice popping up in our list. So over the top here, you've got your processing screen for sending out invoices or receiving invoices. And as you can see, we've got the send invoice action. We'll select that mandate that was configured earlier. And that invoice we just released, number 12, is down here in the list. Only documents that have not been sent will be sitting on this list. This is one of these things where you basically just configure it, set up your schedule, and these kind of things happen automatically in the background. So we'll process that. This is doing exactly what Dan was just mentioning. We're connecting to the Avalara API, which is a single structure for the file that then can map to all the different mandates, all the different countries, which have a lot of nuances that need to be worked with. So if we zip back to the invoice, what we'll see is on the tab that the document has been successfully sent to Avalara and we've received an ID from the API. If I click this button here, this step can actually be done together with the processing screen. Just want to show you that quickly manually. You see the log here on the side. So we processed the document and the document was delivered to the recipient. So if there's any issues, you see all that information there. So it's easy to track and audit. In this test environment, we can actually work on the other side of this transaction. We can receive that same invoice that we just sent. So I'm going to open up the other processing screen, select the same configured system here. We'll just pop in today's date. And it's loading the invoices that have been sent. Now, this is the curse of the demo. That's not appearing there. So let me just try changing that date there. Yeah, don't know what happened there, but we should have been able to see that invoice popping up and to be able to retrieve it on the AP side. So I apologize for that. But that's basically what we wanted to show you today. There's several other sort of technical features, but it's really about the different mandates, mapping those correctly with the different fields, and that sends through the API and retrieves that as well. I did have one that I did earlier. Let me just quickly show you what happens when we receive an invoice. So this is a bill that we've been pulled through from the API from a vendor. You'll see in the files we have an attachment. So the technical document that we're working with is this thing here. So it's basically an XML file describing the e-invoice, send it to the API of Avalara, and then it goes onward from there to all the different things that need to happen through to the government system, through all the checks, and then on to the intended recipient. So that's my overview. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Colin.